So it's good to know where you're going. CCNA 1, so our class has three parts: CCNA 1, CCNA 2, and CCNA 3. And what is this one? CCNA 3. So CCNA 1, that what we're doing for 2 months, we'll be busy with introduction to networks. Introductions. So I'm going to log on my NetAccount so that I can show you something important. So you log on your NetAccount. Don't forget to do your chapter exam. It's a quiz covering chapter 1, 2, 3. You can do it many times. Um, I need to add a name, networking. Uh, so at a later stage, you receive this course. It's a very short one. I think it's only 2 hours. When you finish, you'll get a certificate also. So you can use that long weekend to study. Yeah. So after chapter 1, 2, 3, you have checkpoint exam, basic networking. You can do it many times. It's a quiz covering chapter 1, 2, 3, and it does count for your grade. If I go grade book, you see your very first exam is here. So anyone, it does count for. If I take, for example, Bijou, if I click on the student Bijou, she did that 10 days ago. See. So all exam, we see the very first exam. After chapter 4, 5, 6, 7, you have another exam. So anytime you see checkpoint exam, you must do it. Then you'll see your final mark here. What is final mark? Yeah, it should be somewhere. Okay, we remove it. We remove it, but it's good to have a minimum of 70%. 70%. So after all these chapter exams, you'll get only one final exam. See? This one is a 2-hour exam, 60 questions covering chapter 1 to 14. If you pass more than 70%, 70, the system will generate a certificate. The system will generate a certificate for you. So what I will do, I go to your staff, introduction to networks, I click on it. I go to grades. Then, for example, if I take Alima, for example, you must pass the final exam, you must pass the course survey. Then the teacher, I check if you did all your chapter exams, if you attend the sessions. If you're good, then I check, okay, I'm happy. Gautier has passed or Bijou has passed. Then the system will generate your certificate. So when you get your certificate, you'll see a certificate and a digital badge. How are you going to see that? If you go in you see on top right, you click on your name there, and you can also come to profile, update profile, and make sure that your name is correct the way you want. Because it's that way It's in this way, you'll see your name on your certificate. You see here on top, it's exactly what is here. So make sure your name is correctly, because the system will check from here and print your certificate. So when you are here, you can also see your badge and certificate. If you click on it, if you pass, you will receive a digital badge, and also a certificate. So you see, for example, here, network security, I did pass. This one was 2022. I have my digital badge and my certificate. So for you, at the end, when we finish this 6 months, you'll get 3 digital badge plus 3 certificates. Yeah. And yeah. And if someone want to write his international exam, it's up to you. It's not compulsory to do it. If you do well, Cisco will say, okay, you can get a discount. Something like that. But what is the most important? Make sure your profile name, everything's well done. It is well, it's written the way you want. And also make sure that you receive your badge. And so I have a lot of courses that I can do for you. Yeah. Okay, anyway, let's continue. Let's continue. Let's continue. So today we'll do chapter what? Chapter 4. I'm going to show you. So please mute yourself. I'm going to mute yourself. If you're not asking questions, you can mute yourself. So today we'll do, let me go to your NetAcad. I go to my classes. My classes. So today we're going to do the physical layer. The physical layer, as we said last time, I'm going to show you. CCNA class. Anything in networking, like end devices, all this stuff, anything happening in the network, we need to classify them. We need to classify them. We did that in chapter 3. I'm going to show you again. Yeah, we need to classify them. So we use the OSI model. Layer 1, you see, okay, in networking, if you go for a job interview, we're going to ask you, can you please describe the first layer of the OSI model? So if you ask you such thing, you should know that OSI is what? You should know what OSI stands for, why we need it, how many layers do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And on each layer, we have a short description. So the physical layer, anything relating to the media. So I'll try to make it very simple and short for you so that take my mouse quickly. Okay. So, okay, you're in. I want to make it very simple. So anytime we meet like that, I give you what's the most important to know, non-negotiable. Then when you go in your net account, you'll see it there and you can add extra info. So physical layer, I'm going to quickly. So if you see here, physical layer, anything related to physical structure and the cabling. So where is that thing? Yeah. why this guy is yeah. So this is a short summary of what you're supposed to know in the physical layer. Anytime you see my screen, you can copy the screen and paste it in your Microsoft Word document to get your own summary or something like that. Also, in your NetAcad, when you have your NetAcad and you open your chapter, scroll down, very important to read the introduction. When you finish your introduction, you can also get, at the end of this chapter, a summary. So anytime you see Packet Tracer, you download, you save all of them in a folder, the same folder for CCNA1. So here, you have a nice summary also of this chapter. Why the physical layer, the characteristics, and we explain each type of media. Media is what type of transport your data will use to move from A to B. We can use a Wi-Fi, wireless. We can use cabling. In cabling, we have two groups. We have a normal network cable. I think I did show you one. Cisco network cable. Yeah, you see, you can use a normal cable, network cable. You can use that, you see. So you can use you plug to your PC, and the other one will go to the switch. So you can use this cable, or you can use fiber. See. So that's all for this chapter. This chapter is about the media. Your data, when you say what you want to send something to someone, you tap your email, you say send. Your data must use somewhere to reach your destination. If you're using Wi-Fi, you're going to use the Wi-Fi technology. Else, if you use a cable, we have two types. The normal network cable. Inside, we have two groups. We're going to see them. Or we can use the fiber. Inside also, we have some groups. That's all for this chapter. So here, we're going to explain the normal cabling. This guy, we're going to summarize nicely here for you. We're going to explain the two groups that is there. Also, when you go to the fiber, we're going to explain how it works. If I type Cisco, if I say fiber cable, you see. So you have all these fibers cables. So we have two types, and the connectors. We're going to explain each connector. We have different type of connectors, and also where to put them. If you have a switch, we have a dedicated port where we can put them in. So let's jump in. When you go to Wi-Fi and wireless, it's summarized here, and that's all. So anything related to the media is called the layer one of the physical layer of OSI model. So quickly, I'm going to teach you. Normally 10 minutes, we are done. So this training we do is a professional training. Sometimes we call it a boot camp. It's not like grade 12, page 1, we read, page 2, we read. No, 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 no. Here you're a professional guy. We give you the most important. Now the student himself or herself should go to study. So you can have a look here. Then now we continue. So let me get someone in. So anything related to cabling, it's what will be discussed in this chapter. So anytime you see NIC, it means network interface card. So in your laptop, you have a card. In a PC, you have a card. Without that, you cannot go to the internet. If you have a if you want to use your Wi-Fi, you also need a wireless interface card. Everything, if you have a laptop, everything is ready in your laptop already. So you don't need to buy. In the old days, we had to buy everything. So I'll try to. So you see anything related to a media, this web client wants information. What kind of transport are you going to use? Your own car, a bus, a Uber? Are you going to work? It's up to you. Okay, here we'll explain some standards. Okay, not too much important. After that, a bit of physics, but just need to have an idea. You need to memorize. So the data that will flow on the media will be a series of 0, 1. We call it binary. Before going to a network cable, the system will transform your sentence or your data in a series of 0 and 1s. You see, encoding, convert with stream of bit, and okay, you can just read, but not so much important. A bit of physics, just read to have an idea. Okay, this one I'll explain a bit later also. So something called bandwidth, very important for a network engineer. The bandwidth is, let's say, how fast your data can travel. Mm. So let's say you have one way, you're driving, you have one way, and you have 100 cars must use that only one way. You'll see that you have traffic because people must go first, the other ones must wait, and you see. But if it's two ways or three ways or highway, so you see the highway, it can carry a lot of traffic and quicker. So the bandwidth is how much info can flow on your network cable at a given time. Let me put here something. Yeah, the bandwidth is the capacity at which a medium can carry data. If it's only one lane, you have traffic. But if you have two lanes, the traffic can be much better. But if you have the highway with 6 lines or 4 lines, see. So if you work for Telcom or MTN or Vodacom, you should understand this one. So digital bandwidth, okay, you can check this one. Then I'll explain a bit later also. Remember what we do? We give you the foundation. Now yourself, when you have your free time, you must read, make your notes, do some research. If you don't understand well, you can go to Google and say, okay, Mr. Google, I don't understand bandwidth. What is it? Definition of bandwidth. In IT, you must be very curious. You must do your own research. And you have a lot of explanation around. mm, You also have some videos, what is bandwidth, until you understand. You see. So be curious, do some research if you don't understand. For example, if my ISP says, okay, Mr. Max, your bandwidth is too big, and someone says, okay, Mr. Max, your bandwidth is 60 meg. Which one are you going to choose? 60 meg because it's faster, it's bigger. I can download a lot of stuff quicker at the same time. But 2 meg, it's a bit slow. So the bigger, like here, the bigger bandwidth, the faster you can download your stuff, you can work. You can also do some research on latency. Throughput. Throughput is the bandwidth that we have now. Your ISP can say, okay, Mr. Max, your bandwidth is 60 meg. But now that is 6 p.m., I'm teaching my student what is the current speed. We call it the throughput. Now we see good put. So if you want to see the speed of your network, what are you going to type? There is a place called speed test. Speed test. You press enter. So speed test will check your bandwidth. So you can check here. Internet speed test. You wait. Normally my ISP says I have 60 meg. But you see currently, now I'm teaching you is 13. We call it the throughput. I can download a maximum of 13 meg per second. And to upload, it's almost easy. If your internet connection is fast, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, anyway. I can use another speed test. So job interview, we can ask you, you did study CCNA. Okay, great. Can you please explain to me what is a bandwidth? So remember, when you look for a job, one thing is to show someone that I have a certificate. A certificate shows that, yes, I did study. This is a proof. That's one. Okay, now part two. Okay, sit down. We're going to test you, to ask you questions, to test your knowledge. When you pass it, step number three, sometimes you can say, okay, this is a case study, a packet tracer, for example, and fix something, troubleshoot something. If you pass it, then that's why I say the theory is very, very important. You must know. And so if you use different websites to test your internet speed, you can see that also there are many guys who does that. We continue.
Mr.
Hey,
Max,
yes, question?
this is good here.
Yes, question.
Yes, I want to know there is a software or application for speed test, or if you test your interface, you just go to Google.
Yeah, you can go there. You can go there and there are many links. Like if you type speed test, there are many people who do. Yeah, you check maybe 3 or 4, and you'll see, for example, here, speedtest.u.za. Let's check what we say. You come here and yeah. and you check your speed. So if this guy sees I have 11 to download, this is my service provider. So me, I'm using what? I'm not using a cable. I'm using wireless for my media. You see. If it's in a company, you can use network cables. You see. So let's start. When you use network cables, guys, uh, network cable, we're trying to explain what is the inside. You can read. Yeah, inside we use we copper or what. So when you have network cables, we have three categories inside. What does it mean? It means, if I go back, that network cable that you see, we have many types. If you use a RG45, that big thing, you cut it, you'll see that, you'll see inside your cable, you see here, when you cut it, use a cable, you cut it, you remove, and you'll see all these. If it's not protected, we call it UTP, unshielded twisted pair. If these four guys you're protected, we call it shielded or shield or what STP. The most used is STP. It's more reliable because it's well protected against noise and other stuff. In America, they use a lot the coaxial cable. Their technology, their own way of seeing stuff. We use a lot of this one, like a DSTV cable at the back of your stuff. Or in the old days, the antenna, 20 years ago, we are using this one a lot to connect to our PC. So the most used is STP. It's well protected. And so now we're going to explain a bit what is number one, your normal network, and all these things. You can read if you want to. So you see this one is UTP. It's not protected. If you use STP, it's all these things are well protected. That's why we have more better noise protection than UTP. It's more expensive. It's the best. You don't need to memorize and just read once just to have an idea. That's all. Now the other one, the coax cable, like DSTV guys, no need to memorize, just to have an idea. In one line, you make your summary of this. That's all, nothing else. Now we're going to go a bit deeper. What is UTP? What is inside? We're going to, there are a lot of readings. There are a lot of so if in the old days we had to make our own network cables, if you do it like that, it's not good. But if you make it like that, if a green is inside your RG45, it's well done. Nowadays, we just buy. You go to take a lot, you order, you get it done, finished. In the old days, 20 years ago, we had to make our own network cables. This connector, we call it RG45. We have two types. The bigger one for network cable, we call it RG45 to connect PCs. And we have a smaller one called RG11. It's for telephone. The telephony, what. So job interview, we can explain to you, okay, what is the difference between RG45 and RG11? What's the RG45 versus RG11. And do your own research. Be curious in IT. Do some research. Go to YouTube. Try to understand. You see, RG11, it's not for the old telephone. We know that nowadays people are using a lot of cell phones, but in the old days, we use this one. And for PCs, it's RG45. So these are some questions we might ask you in job interview. Okay, this one is a bit, yeah. So for we have 8 pins, but RJ11, I think it's only four pins. These small cables there. Very small. Let me, yeah, there's a cable inside. Mm. You can also check some videos. You have some videos, we explain nicely. Always do some research. You're IT, you must be the best of the best. My first job I got in South Africa, we were almost 45 candidates for one for one position. 45. Who will be taken? They go through a lot of test, 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 interviews. The last one was with the big boss in UK, the boss in South Africa, telephony conference, asking questions until I got hired. That's why I always tell students, please study. Nothing is difficult. It depends on how much time you put on your training, how much time you do your research, you do your summary, you know your stuff. Nothing is impossible in IT. You just need to study. That's all.
Sorry,
Please,
Mr. Max.
yes, question. You tell us your name and you ask your question. Yes,
I'm Gina, Mr. Max.
yes, you know.
Sorry, Mr. Max. I want to know, besides RJ45, there is no other cable that can be used on the net. Yeah,
Yeah, yes, it's only the normal network cable. It's only this one we can use. Only this
only
one.
RJ45.
Yes.
Okay,
Either you
thanks.
use Wi-Fi, wireless, or you use wired. If you use wired, it's this one. So the most used is STP because it's most, let's say, protected and yeah. Now, also, if you want to connect a PC to a PC or a PC to a switch or what, we also have different groups. We're going to see them. So we go step by step. So here, they'll explain more UTP. You can check. So for a network cable, if you have such network cable in a company, we have three groups, three types. These types I'm going to show you here. Um, not it's not here. Let me go up. See me, I like making my own nice summaries. It helps me to. So you see, if you want to connect a switch to a router, we have a type of cable, a switch to a PC. So we have a straight cable, a crossover cable, and the last one is called a console cable or rollover cable. What does it mean? If you see the blue one, it's what we call a console cable. I just purchased my switch or my router. I want to do some basic configs. I take my laptop, my plug-in packet tracer here. Okay, this one I'm going to close it. I'm not going to save. I'm going to open my packet tracer. I click here. We're almost done, and normally in 15 minutes we are done. So we have a console cable. For example, I just purchased a switch, or I go in the server room to do something. Oh, what is that guy? This is my switch, and I want to do some basic configs inside. I take my laptop. Now the cable, I need to log on to connect these two. You see here, you'll see the name down here. So the blue one is console cable. I connect to my port to the console port. Then from my PC, I will see inside my switch to do whatever I want to do, changing my name, changing the security, anything. So you click on your laptop, you click on desktop. We have time to do that. No worries. Terminal, okay. And from my PC, you see, I'm in the switch. So to do such thing, we use what we call a console cable. Now, let's say you have a switch. At a later stage, I'll bring some switches and cabling, and I'll ask you to do the connections. That's why it's very important to know the theory first. Then you know what to do. So theory is very, very important to understand. Then we use packet tracer to test you. When you're very good in these two, then we can go live. You can never go live if you don't know these two. You have two switches.
Mr. Max,
Yes.
I want just to know about RG45 cable. You say nowadays it's come by with the plug, so they just do UTP already. So we don't
Yeah.
need to
You
make
have to
it.
make them. You have to build them. Yes.
So we don't need to do it anymore.
No, 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 no. We don't do that anymore. You see,
So
you go to Amazon or
what
you go to Take a Lot, you order.
cable? Okay, so what if the cable is long, so you want to cut it?
No, you don't need to cut it. It's up to you to decide.
Uh,
You see the length. Do you want a 20 meters? Do you want 3 meters? Do you want 100? It's up to you to choose the
okay.
length of the cable you want. Yeah.
All
For
right.
example, like, okay, cool, great. So I can go to Take a Lot and I type, for example, network cable, network cable. I press enter. And you have different. You see, this one is very long. This one is very short. You see, 3 meters. You see here. So it depends on how long you want. This one is 3 meters. So if you want 3 meters, you order this one. If you want a longer one, you order this one. This one is how this one should be 10 meters or something. So before you order, you see here, this one is 10 meters. So it's written and you order. Okay, quickly, let's finish this guy. So if you have two switches and you want to connect them, what type of cable
Hello,
are you going to
everyone.
use?
Hello, everyone. Mr. Max.
Yes, your name and question?
Yeah, it's Audrey. Né? I want just to
Yes,
ask
Adrian.
why nowadays we can't put the cable that with the LG 45. Why we can't do this again?
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question. Uh, You are at home, and let's say you are in Cape Town CBD, and you need to go to, let's say, Pretoria, for example. You have a choice between walking or take a plane. Which way are you going to use? You need to
I will
make your
use
life
the
easy.
I will use
Yes,
the shortcut. I will take a plane.
yeah, take a plane. So you take what is the most uh the way you're going to use and without a lot of effort, and easier. The plane is easier. So if you have a plane, why you want to take your car? If you take the bus, it's almost 20 hours. You take the plane, it's 2 hours. Take the plane. So if you want to build yourself, you can do it, but you can make mistakes. Your cable might not be working properly, you see. But if you
Okay.
order, it's already made by professionals. It has been tested. It works properly. There is no issue of mistakes, you see. It's well
Yeah.
done
Thank you.
already. Okay, no problem. You're welcome. Please feel free to ask questions. Your question helps me to explain more, and also helps anyone else to understand also. So quickly, let's continue. If you want to connect two switches, you click on packet tracer here, and we use. Are you going to use a console? No, you cannot use console to. No. A console is to use a laptop to log on a device to do a basic config. Then you remove it. So a console cable doesn't stay for long. You do it and you remove. So to connect two switches, we use. If you don't know, for now you click on the automatic. See, is if you see that it's cut, we call it a cross cable. If it's a straight line, like if it's a straight line, like a PC to a switch, you see, if it's a straight line in packet tracer, it means it's what is a straight, you see, straight cable. If it's not straight, you see some dots, it's a crossover cable. These are the three types of cables you need to know in packet tracer. The blue one, a console cable. Now it depends on between the straight cable and the crossover cable, when we use what? This is your table that you should know. What is it again? Yes, this one. So have a look and we continue.
Sorry, Mr. Max.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Gina again. I wanna ask, like, if you are traveling, like you going, let's say, like out of the country, or maybe let's say around here in South Africa, and you have your laptop. So which cable are you going to use so that you can be connected?
Okay, mostly if you're traveling, you use the Wi-Fi because there you don't
Yeah.
need a cable. And
Okay.
also, yeah, so normally it's Wi-Fi stuff. That's why the Wi-Fi has been created to avoid all this cabling. And all this
Oh,
cabling, we have some limitation. After 100 meters, we're not working properly, you see. And you cannot get a longer cable from, let's say, from Century City and to Pero. No, it's too long. Then you can use the Wi-Fi. Yeah. Okay, quickly, guys, let us finish. So the difference between a straight cable and a crossover cable, it's about how the RG45 is organized. It is about the color. So if one side of RG45, the order of the color is the same like the other end, you say it's a straight. You see, one RG45, you see, the color is yellow, for example. The other RG45 is yellow. Here is blue. It's blue, green, green. You see, then we say it's a straight cable. If it's opposite, we call it a rollover cable or console cable. So if it's not a rollover cable, it's not a straight, automatically it's a crossover cable because we only have three types. Okay, we'll have time to do all these things many times. Then you have a fiber. If you use ISPs, nowadays we have fiber stuff. So in fiber, we have two categories. We have a single mode and multi-mode. You can check the difference between these two. We don't need to memorize them, just to have a look, that's all. So compare 3 seconds quick and we continue. So again, what I give you is the big picture, the foundation. Now yourself, when you go in AutoCAD, you take your time, you make your own notes, your own summary, and so we have two groups. And yeah, so here we're not saying RJ45, the connectors. Here we have different types. We have ST, LC, it depends on see how it is. So when you purchase your switch or your router, in the user manual, we're going to say, okay, this router supports fiber with ST connectors. Then you buy this one to connect. Or this switch supports, how do you call it? Fiber, but with LC, multi-mode LC connectors. So when you purchase, we'll tell you which one of the connectors you can buy and to use. So yeah, we have a lot of fibers. We have multi-mode or single mode. Multi-mode is more expensive, more reliable. And at the end of each of them, you have some connectors. It depends on the system you're using. Yeah, so here we compare, are you going to use a company network cable or a fiber? If you need to compare them, you can check some stuff. But fiber is expensive, but it's more reliable. It's faster, it's the best, but it's very expensive. Okay, what else can we do? Now, when it comes to wireless, it's about Wi-Fi. We all know how Wi-Fi works. So here, we'll try to explain a bit. In CCNA 2, we have a chapter for Wi-Fi. So here, it's just an introduction. We'll try to explain a bit. If the distance is very short, we call it Bluetooth, less than 10 meters. If the distance is up to 100 meters, we say Wi-Fi. If it's kilometers, a Wi-Fi covering a large geographic area, we call it WiMAX. Zigbee we don't use here in Africa. It's maybe America or somewhere there. Yeah, so wireless, Wi-Fi. Usually we use Bluetooth. For example, you want to transfer something from your cell phone to your laptop. The distance is short, we call it Bluetooth. If it's in a company, a classroom, the distance is a bit bigger, we say Wi-Fi. And at a later stage, when we're going to use packet tracer, we'll see what we need for a Wi-Fi. We need a Wi-Fi network interface card in your PC or in your laptop. And you also need an access point. So in companies, you'll see on the ceiling that we have something that is a bit white, access point. Access point. You see. So if you work in a company, we have a device, these devices, all our cell phones will get connected to them, Wi-Fi. This device will get connected to a switch to a router, and go to the internet. We have time to come back here and do it. As usual, you can do some research on that. So normally that's all for this chapter. And we're going to use some packet tracer to do all these. So that's all for this chapter 4. So it's about the media. We can use Wi-Fi, wireless, to connect the networks, or data to travel, or we can use cabling. In the cabling, we can use the fiber. Normally, fiber is mostly used by ISPs, internet service providers, and the most used is the normal network cable. And we have 3 types. We have a console for basic configurations. Else, we have a straight cable and the crossover cable. That's all for this chapter 4. Yeah. Any questions before we close? So yeah, that's all. So you go in your letter card, you take your time to read, to make your own notes. At the end, you have a nice summary. Yeah, I like it, this one a lot. The introduction and the summary. You can copy, paste, print for yourself. And you have your quiz, and you can do it many times to check your knowledge. Okay, thank you so much, guys. So we'll be meeting again next week, Tuesday, the 22nd. And we'll be doing chapter 5. We'll be doing, chapter 5 is about number systems. It's a very short one. Normally 20 minutes, we are done. What is it about? It's about, for us human beings, how do we understand numbers? IT equipment, how do we understand numbers? And MAC address, what numbers we use. So we have decimal numbers, binary numbers, and hexadecimal numbers. Done, finished. Anything else is extra info. Extra info. That's all. This is the table that we'll study next time. You know this one, it finished for this chapter. Anything else is extra info. Okay, thank you so much, guys. I'm going to stop the recordings and